Welcome, Internet Infantry, once again to Sammy's Slaughterhouse. As always, I'm Sammy Synister, going to keep you through this maze and this awful, awful place we call the Slaughterhouse. I don't know, I couldn't start a show without doing that. We got something a little different for you tonight. I know y'all have already seen one SmackDown review, and I've got this open over here. We've already seen something. I've already seen a review from LK tonight, and it's wonderful. Go ahead and check that out as well. His is going to be much more analytical than we're going to be tonight. We're going to kind of keep things a little flimsy-flamsy, if you will. Just kind of off the edge of our sheets. Unless you're blind and you're just kind of listening to us, which is completely okay, too, you'll notice I'm not alone tonight. I got somebody with me. So for a very special guest, the first real guest we've had here on Sammy's Slaughterhouse, maybe on KocoSports. I'm not 100% centered. We've got my beautiful and wonderful niece, who doesn't have a nickname yet. So everyone's got a nickname. You want to be Snickerdoodle? Okay, so we got Snickerdoodle in the house tonight, and we were both at the SmackDown live show tonight. So we were actually at the event. So we've got a little bit more than maybe your average YouTuber review has got. A couple more things up our sleeves that we didn't see. So the first thing, as always, that we always do, and again, I already watched LK's video, we go win, loss, or tie. Did you like it? Did you kind of like it? Did you not like it? I liked it. I had a lot of fun. I'm going to give it a win. I had a lot. What do you say?
I liked it.
You going to give it a win? Okay. I'm going to give it a big win, too. And it's just more fun when you're there. It's a lot more fun. It's, a bad match is fun when you're live. Because it's just, you get that kind of primal feeling. And this is your first event. She has never been to a wrestling event before tonight. So we broke that for you. You got to go to your very first wrestling event. This is your first event of anything.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I liked it a lot.
Was it crazy?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're actually going to start off with a spoiler. So if you want to watch main event, this is going to sound weird because I know no one watches main event. Spoilers coming up because this isn't going to come out for maybe another week or so. So if you're going to watch SmackDown this week, go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Just cover your ears, pretend not to hear me for a little bit because we are going to throw down some main event spoilers. So main event this week, the actual main event show is worth watching. It was great. It was some more cruiserweights. It was Rich Swann versus Lince Dorado, and of course Rick Swann gets the match, gets the win out of here. That was one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah, it was my absolute favorite.
That was your favorite match of the night?
Yeah.
Why was that your favorite match?
Because they did a lot of athletic stuff.
Because they did all the flips and all the. I like that too. That's why I like cruiserweights and I like the lucha libre style because that's what that's based off of. Is the flips and the high fly and the playing to the crowd and getting the crowd behind it. And those two guys are two of the best. They're really, really good. And you liked that Rich Swann, was dancing.
Yes.
she looked over and was like, why is he dancing? It's just part of his gimmick. That's what he do. So Rich Swann does get the victory out of there. It was the only match on Superstars. There were two. There was that one, and then we had the second Superstars match. But this one was a little weird for me. It was a tag team match of Bazongo versus Rhino and Heath Slater. Why are your SmackDown title holders on SmackDown? On main event. That's weird to me. But it was fun. It was fun. Obviously, people really like Heath Slater, which is weird. I know you just started watching. 6 months ago, no one cared. They didn't even dislike Heath Slater. They just didn't know. They just didn't care. And now he's the tag team champion. So that was a big deal. You got a really good picture of Tyler Breeze with his selfie stick. So, what'd you think of that match?
It wasn't my favorite, but I liked that one a lot.
Okay, you like that one a lot. What'd they do that you liked?
I'm trying to think. I think my favorite part in that match was just watching the entrance, though.
Just watching the entrances? You said that your favorite part of the whole show was just kind of watching the entrances.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because people say don't judge a book by its cover. I judge wrestlers by their entrances. And what's worse is that I'm often right. If you have a bad entrance, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to call you out on that. And I'm going to tell you to fix it. But no, there were some really good entrances tonight. So we've moved right past that, and we get into what I'm assuming, because we're live, it's a little disfuddled, and it's hard to gauge what's going on actually on live TV, because there's some stuff that we don't know if it's a dark match, if it's being recorded. We just kind of got to guess. So if this is a spoiler, I apologize. It is not meant to be. That is the end of main event. We are going into SmackDown. I'm assuming this must have been on a SmackDown pre-show, perhaps, but I'm not 100% sure. But we had some jobbers, some local talent. I don't even remember the kid's name. Couldn't tell you. If you put a gun to my head right now and say, I'm going to blow your brains out if you tell me that kid's name, I couldn't tell you. So just don't ask me that question. But he's going up against Kane, which, of course, a lot of people weren't ready for. Made him jump because of the fire. Yeah. And it's what this is, to me, if you're doing monster heel stuff, or just monster, like, if you're doing any type of monster gimmick, do it like Kane did tonight. He no-sold everything. And the local talent did good. Hit him with a kick, grabbed his knee like it hurt him, hit him with a fist, grabbed his fist like it hurt him. It was pretty good. I really, really enjoyed it. And Kane just no-sold everything. And, of course, got the choke slam, made all the fire appear. Yeah. He's big and scary. What'd you think about that one?
That one was probably my second favorite.
Really? That one was your second? Why was that one your second favorite?
I think it's because it went on for like a long time.
It was a little bit longer. It was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That wasn't the longest match of tonight, though. Yeah, but it was those are what we call, if you want to get a technical, it's called a squash match. And the point of that is to come in and make that big guy look super big and tough, because he just threw that little guy all over the place. And he succeeded in that, I think. I think so. Okay. So we get into the actual show. As far as I'm aware, pulling up some SmackDown results to read off of, we got into the actual show of tonight, which it opens up with some videos from what they're saying here, but we didn't see. So we couldn't give you our thoughts on those if we wanted to. So we go out. Of course, they're in Birmingham, Alabama tonight, down here in the dirty South, my hometown, keeping it real. First segment of the night is surprising. I didn't actually see this coming. Was a contract signing match for the women's title, which was Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss. Not a whole lot to say here. It was really nice live. The crowd was so loud for Becky, I could hardly hear what they were saying. Yeah. Which is good, because Becky Lynch, I think, is really, really popular. LK is one of the other guys that does show. He don't like Becky Lynch, but it's okay. It's okay. We can't all be right. It's all right. It's all right. But it was a good little segment. There went my phone. I owe y'all a drink. That's the rule. If my phone goes off, I owe you guys a drink. I actually usually say something else. We got to keep it friendly here. So it was good. Becky actually had I thought a pretty powerful and a pretty good promo. She, kind of like she wasn't born to be a champion. She earned the right to be a champion. And Alexa Bliss did your typical heel stuff and just got some heat on her. What did you think about that?
I think that Alexa, she was kind of like, I don't know. She was just being mean. I didn't like her.
You're being mean?
I didn't like her.
You didn't like her?
No.
Why didn't you like her?
I think it's because I don't like any heel, because Asuka made me hate every single heel.
Asuka's not a heel, though.
She was.
Well, in that match she was, but in general she's not.
I know.
Look, she's been watching like,
hey, what's up, brother?
Oh, is somebody here? Has somebody jumped on?
The sexiest man on all of Internet Wrestling Radio is here.
It is Boom Booms. Boom Booms, welcome. First off, before we go any further, it is family friendly tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be on my best behavior.
All right. Well, Boom Booms, this is the wonderful, my niece, Snickerdoodle.
This is
old emphasis on the old friend of mine. This is
I knew your uncle way back when he actually had hair, like long, stringy, flowing locks of hair. That's how long ago it's been.
A long time ago. We go back a long way, me and Booms. So, Booms, what'd you think of tonight's show? Win, lost, tie?
You know what? I'm going to give it a win. That second hour kind of dragged a little bit for me, but I think all in all, everything kind of came together. I was like, maybe I was about to give it a tie, but I saw the ending. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a win. It was very entertaining. So, thumbs up.
We said the same. We really enjoyed it. I mean, it could have been a terrible show. We probably would have given it a win, just because it was really fun being there. This was her very first event.
I promise you, Snickerdoodle, you will never forget this night for the rest of your life. Back when I was a wee little lad, way back in the ancient 1990s,
you meant 1890s. Electricity was new.
Yeah, those motor cars and replace the horse and
They
buggy.
even had those horseless carriages.
Yes. I remember going to my first show, and I still remember it to this day. I still remember the main event. So, yeah, you'll never forget this day. It was it's actually a milestone in your life.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time.
Yeah.
We just talked about the contract signing segment, but one thing I was going to say that really made me mad had nothing to do with the show. We went to go see about some merch. I wanted to get her a T-shirt so you could have something to remember it by. They didn't have any merchandise for Becky Lynch. How are you going to have no merchandise for your champion?
I'm about to say, it's not like, okay, if this was like lower card, yeah, I can maybe understand, but yeah, she's been on the main roster for over a year. She was on the main champion.
Yeah, and none of the ladies. There was one Nikki Bella shirt, and that was it. And so I'm hoping we just got there a little late and it was gone. But yeah, I was really kind of peeved about that. I was going to get her a shirt and they didn't have nothing.
That makes me sad.
Makes me sad.
When it comes to that contract signing, and I don't know if you picked this up from where you were sitting, but when I was watching on TV, the thing that struck me odd about this was Daniel Bryan's out there in the ring. The show starts. He's like, okay, we're going to do a contract signing. Everybody's like, oh, God, we know where this is going here. Yeah. Oh, geez, I hope there's no shenanigans. So, Daniel Bryan's like, okay, we're going to be civil here, so let's bring out Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch comes out. It's like, okay, now we're going to bring out Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss comes out. They kind of jaw back and forth, and Daniel Bryan's just standing there just like, okay, I said it's going to be civil. And then she's like, that Alexa Bliss starts turning up the heat. She's the bad guy. I disagree with you, ma'am. Disagree with your tomfoolery, your shenanigans. So, she's saying her thing, and then, Becky Lynch is making it. I mean, she cut a good face promo. Becky cut
that's what we said. She actually cut a really good promo.
And then Alexa Bliss came right back as a good heel. And then, of course, wow, what a shocker. She slaps her with the contract, and it flips the table over. Daniel Bryan does nothing. Signs the contract, basically throws it. And so Becky is not going to stand for this malarkey and attacks Alexa Bliss, understand, and Daniel Bryan just okay. I'm like, did you just not say 60 seconds ago that this was going to be civil? You were not going to allow this to happen, yet it happens like not 4 feet in front of you, and you're not even like, hey.
Genuinely speaking, I think Mick Foley's being the better general manager.
That's bad.
Yeah, I think he's being the way. And I like Daniel Bryan. I really do. Daniel Bryan got booed twice tonight. He got booed in that segment because he's like, we're going to keep it civil. And the crowd let him know they did not appreciate that.
No.
Loudly. And then we'll get to where he got booed later on in the night. Yes. But that was pretty much it for that segment. I actually really, really liked it. They got a good promo. We get a quick, I assume, because again, we were live. We didn't see a lot of what y'all saw. We get to the Usos are going up against Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. And so we come back from break, I assume. Again, we're just kind of guessing.
Yeah, there was like a small commercial break, I think, in the middle of that match. It was, I think it was not long after not Jason Jordan, Gable got thrown outside and was clutching his knee. He was like, hitting his knee, he's like, come on, man, I got to get back in that. I think they went to commercial break, and I think on your end, they just went into rest holds.
Yeah, they went into rest holds for a little bit. So, I mean, there was actually a backstage promo with The Miz and Daniel Bryan before we got to this. We could barely hear it because that crowd was on fire tonight. They were loud. So from what I could tell, Daniel Bryan was like, yeah, you can renegotiate your contract, but
we saw that.
Have to go defend your belt.
Yeah,
you're also going to get your contract cut.
Right.
Yeah, so, we saw that on TV.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what, again, we're just kind of guessing what y'all saw, what we didn't saw. And y'all might have saw some stuff we didn't, but that did go directly into the Usos versus the American Alpha match. Now, one thing, just from looking at some results that we did not know, or I didn't know until just now, this was the #1 contenders match.
Oh, it was?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
You know, and to be honest, I really, despite the outcome, I really loved the tag team match. I really
Really?
did. I thought I thought they told a great story. I mean, you can make the argument that, you know, Chad Gable, while he was medically cleared to go, maybe he came back too soon. The Usos knew about the injury, so they attacked the leg. They got the out because Jason Jordan had the opportunity to tag in Chad Gable, but he's like, no, my partner's hurt. I'm not going to bring him, you know, back in there and risk a injury. He was thinking about long term.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Did they play that up on commentary? Because we didn't get that there being live.
They did. Particularly JBL, you know,
Really?
played that up of all people.
Because watching it live, it kind of looked like, okay, I hope they're not teasing a breakup already.
No, they were like, you know, Jason Jordan did the smart thing. He didn't tag in his partner. You know, it hurt him in the short run, but in the long run, it's going to pay off. That's kind of the way that they approached it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we didn't get that on our end, but it's good to know at the very least. It wasn't a bad match. The crowd wasn't into it, though.
Yeah,
wasn't into it at all.
You know, I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't know if they were picking up towards the end, but I actually like the length of the match. I think that went over a little over 10 minutes.
The length was really good.
Yeah,
and I don't know if this is Birmingham's a dumb crowd, but like half the crowd was cheering for the Usos.
Well, to be fair, the Usos have been there a lot longer. They know who the Usos are, whereas unless you're like a hardcore NXT fan, you're not going to be really all that familiar with American Alpha. You're not going to be that familiar with their body of work.
True.
So, and plus, I mean, it's just this is not a shot at NXT, but just the fact is that there are more people who watch Raw and SmackDown than there are who watch NXT because, well, you have to pay for the network to get NXT, whereas you can watch Raw and SmackDown for free, and you know.
Fair enough. Well, since we were live and you actually got to watch it, do you want to drive the bus a little bit and we'll chime in from what we saw live?
Oh, yeah, I can totally do that here. And I want to give a shout out to Edward Mohan, who's watching us live here. He's giving a big shout out to your Giants, sir.
Go G-Man! 2-0, baby.
Wait, what does that mean?
Giants. Me and Papa's team. Oh, that's you never watched Lucha Underground with him. That's one of my favorite wrestlers. That's what he does. It means Cero Muerto, which is zero fear. That's my thing. I completely stole it from him.
Yeah, that's just kind of like his catchphrase, you know.
If you would.
All right. Let's see. After that, we had let's see. I'm trying to go. Okay. Immediately after that match, there was a little backstage confrontation between the Usos and Heath Slater and Rhino. I did think it was kind of funny when Rhino was like, "Don't you touch my crackers." It was
pretty funny.
To me, that was funny. I don't know why, and it's like, well, you know, of course, the Usos immediately trying to get some more heat on them by saying, you know, it's like, you know what, you cheated when you beat us. We had to fight twice in the same night. Well, you know what? Well, we're going to come for you. You know, we're going to be fresh. And you know, then when Rhino was going to get up in her grill, they ran away. Then they teased Randy Orton taking on Eric Rowan. I got some jokes about that coming. Then they come back out. Jack Swagger's at ringside, doing a guest commentary, and then they bring out Apollo Crews, and then they welcome in Baron Corbin.
How many times is Apollo Crews going to lose?
Dude,
he was looking really good at the beginning of this match. He was being vicious and looking good, and they're just determined to have Baron Corbin beat him. I think Baron Corbin's beaten him on TV 4 times.
Well, I know last week they didn't have a match. They were supposed to have a match, but Corbin jumped him like before the match, knocked him to the outside, then hit him with end of days on the outside, which is setting up for this. And then with Jack Swagger, and Swagger just sent me on. I mean, there's just mixed emotions. Is Swagger, is he a face? Is he a heel? Is he back to a face? I mean, how do they?
He got a really big pop. But we didn't get to hear anything he said on commentary. You know,
I kind of wish they would drop his All-American gimmick. You know, this "We the People," and I mean, I'm just saying it's run its course. It's he just got moved over to SmackDown. It's time for a fresh start. I really wish they would give him something else.
I mean, he's a great enough wrestler. Is he a good enough professional wrestler to be able to handle another gimmick.
Well, I mean, that you just need to find something that works for him. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you have to, like, say, okay, he's going to be a dancer now and, make him come out there with Fandango. I'm just saying, just kind of find something, just kind of, I don't know the guy personally. It's just one of those, kind of see who he really is, take that personality and find a way to crank it up to 11. But I wasn't really impressed with the Cruz Baron Corbin. I think the only reason they had that was just to set up the confrontation between Corbin and Swagger at the end of the match.
And that's really all it felt like, even being there. Even though, again, I was really impressed with Cruz in the beginning, but it was probably the match people were into the least. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see, then we had another vignette by Kurt Hawkins, who I thought he was going to debut tonight from the way they were hyping it up, because I thought, okay, he's coming up next. No, he never went out there. So I don't know if y'all saw that little vignette. He said, at night dream catchers hang Kurt Hawkins catchers above their beds.
I didn't get to hear a lick of it. Not a lick.
Yeah, so I'm actually I'm actually kind of surprised that Hawkins is taking this deal. From what I understand, he was running his own wrestling school. I mean, he had a good gig going on with Global Force Wrestling and the Indies, and I think it was Wrestling Inc. They did an interview with Kevin Thorne. I don't know if you remember him from the new ECW that they had a while back.
Yeah.
And he talked about why a lot of these guys aren't taking this WWE deal, because he's saying, well, with the money that they're paying you, you could just stay on the independent circuits, have more control over your bookings and your travel, and still make about the same money. And plus, when they're bringing you on onto Raw, onto SmackDown, they're not there to put you over. You're there to put the other guys over. So it's like, what's the point? So I'm surprised. So that's, with that being said, that's why I'm surprised Hawkins is taking this deal.
Who knows? Maybe they'll offer a little bit more money. You never know.
And then let's see, backstage, Nikki Bella and Naomi were talking. Charlie Caruso asked to him, about keeping up their momentum and how things are going in the Divas division, and they, have some words to say about Natalya's attitude, that they will not stand for her shenanigans. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Oh yeah.
And then, Nikki talked about, well, Carmella, she's tough, but she hasn't had to, work like I have. I'm not the old Nikki Bella. I had to overcome an injury, and I'm fighting every match if it's my last. I wish it was.
When did Nikki Bella become popular?
I don't know. When WWE said, hey, we're going to make her a face when she comes back.
She had one of the louder pops of tonight. Did we just miss this memo? Apparently
so. I mean, it makes sense why they would make her a face, because they're kicking off Total Bellas.
Yeah.
On the E Network.
But I was just trying to explain it to her that last time because she got hurt and came back, and before she got hurt, it wasn't even that people didn't like her; they just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, she's popular.
Well, I think it's maybe because of the comeback story, because here she was, she was wrestling, she hurt her neck, because of her finishing maneuver, the rack attack. And by the way, that wrestling and coupled with that finishing maneuver was just not good. And you keep doing the stuff repeatedly, it's going to take its toll. Oh, and by the way, Snickerdoodle, don't ever attempt a rack attack on anyone for whatever reason whatsoever. That's just not good.
It's painful. It's one of the few wrestling moves I look at. I'm like, that really looks like it hurts.
Yeah, and then there was talks that her career might actually have been over.
Yeah.
Because she was a neck injury. We're talking about neck injuries are extremely serious.
Typically, that's a ball game.
So she got surgery. She had to go through almost a year of rehab. She comes back out. She's, hey, I've got a show coming up on A&E. Everybody kind of likes that comeback story. So WWE just decided to roll with it, in my opinion.
I guess so. Anyway, most of the backstage promos, we really didn't get to hear too much because they were extraordinarily loud, and this is family friendly, so I'm not going to be as mean. You're good. The people sitting next to me were the most mutant level mouth breathers. Like, think of when you think of someone that would watch wrestling in Alabama. Okay, that's what this was.
There's always one.
They were during the Uso match. They kept chanting for Alpha, and I had to tell. I was like, Alpha hadn't wrestled in 30 years. Like it's. And you remember my JBL impression?
Mm-hmm.
The lady kind of sounded like that. It didn't ruin the good time, but I was just like, God, man, shut up.
Mm-hmm. You know, Snickerdoodle, you are allowed to talk. You can join this conversation at any time here. So, let me ask you. You know, we're talking about here about Nikki Bella and Naomi. They're setting up for this match. You know, what would you think about their little backstage, interaction, with Charlie Caruso and headed out to the ring? Did it get you pumped? Were you invested in the storyline? What were you thinking?
I don't.
We really didn't get to hear too much of what they were saying. It was so loud.
The one where Naomi. Yeah, Naomi and Nikki.
Mm-hmm. They showed up on the big Tron. Remember, they were coming from backstage.
Right.
I'm like Papa. I don't hear very well, so maybe you heard it better than I did.
No, I liked that.
You liked it? Okay. Why'd you like it?
I liked it because I don't like the other people, and they were talking about them. I guess.
Fair. That's completely fair.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Trust me, I'm like that on some things too. I'm like, well, I don't like the other people, so therefore, by default, I like this person.
That happens to me later tonight. We'll get to it.
Yeah, they hyped up. Then they hyped up Dolph Ziggler. Getting a rematch against the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. He called Miz a scumbag. Said he's desperate, and says, Ziggler says, I wasn't supposed to be a world champion or a Kent State Hall of Famer, but I'm both. And, I'm going to prove to Miz just how good I am, and I'm going to shut him up once for all. And then we get into the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, I got to ask you, Snickerdoodle, from my seat, from where I'm sitting in my home here in Richmond, Virginia, watching this match, going into it, I was thinking, you know what, I really don't think Dolph Ziggler has a chance, but, I'll watch this match anyway. And then I start watching it, and wow, Ziggler's getting some offense in. Oh, okay, he got a near fall there. Okay, I'm getting a little excited here. Whoa, that famouser. Oh, my God, go for the cover. 1, 2, no, he kicked out. Oh, my God. I was starting to get into it, man. What was it like being live there in the middle of the action, watching that, the whole crowd was just like, come on, can he do it? Can Ziggler do it? Can Ziggler upset the Miz? What was it like from, sitting there live in the arena?
It was really loud. That's what it was like. It was loud.
Oh, I bet.
That was probably the match people were into the most.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, were you cheering?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it seemed like the whole crowd was into it. So
they really were, which helps a match. If the crowd's into it and the crowd's invested, it makes the match better.
Yeah, but I gotta ask you that. Okay.
That match, people are invested, and it was really good. You look at the tag team match, people really weren't invested.
Yeah, now, Maurice tried to interfere by spraying Ziggler with that spray, but the referee caught her and tossed her from ringside. This went to a series of near falls. The Miz tried to bail on the match, but Ziggler cut him off. He threw him back in the ring, and the Miz just happened to grab a hold of that can of spray. He tossed his belt as the referee was going to go remove the belt. The Miz sprayed whatever that stuff is in Ziggler's eyes, and then hit him with the skull-crushing finale for the win. You get the 1, 2, 3, your winner and still Intercontinental Champion, The Miz. I thought it was a good match, but I've got to ask you, man, what do you do with Ziggler now? He went from challenging Dean Ambrose for the WWE Championship to just by default, for no reason, challenging getting mixed up in a feud with The Miz. And he's wrestled him, 3 times now?
Excuse me.
Yeah. 3 times, at least twice, but possibly 3 times he's wrestled The Miz and lost every time. I was hoping that SmackDown would kind of, be like a reboot for his career, but it's pretty much the same old, same old. He puts on a good match, he does a good job, but he just can't get the job done. So, one, is his career dead? And two, where does he go from here?
So what would you do? Dolph Ziggler was the gentleman that lost to The Miz. So since he lost and he's having a little bit, what would you do?
I don't know. Wait, no. I would just wait for him to, because eventually he would have to win another, like, a match against somebody, so I would wait for that, I guess.
Okay. You know what I would do? I'd turn him into a bad guy. I'd turn him into I'd have him go full-blown heel, and then that's where the showstopper comes back in. Because if your name is the show stealer, you should steal the show and be braggadocious about it. But
I'd actually like to see him literally steal the show.
Yeah, just steal the show. Make it, for a night, make it the Dolph Ziggler show.
Ooh, it's the Dolph Ziggler show, starring me and Dolph. It's the Dolph Ziggler show, and I got lots of great guests. Okay, that was bad. All right, then next we go to Eric Rowan versus Randy Orton. I really can't tell you what happened to this because I decided to go get the last piece of apple pie.
You didn't miss a lot.
Yeah. By the way, I can't take credit for this. Brian Zane, who does Wrestling with Regret, actually has a joke about Eric Rowan. It used to be that we would all make fun of the Big Show because every year he would go through a face, heel, face, heel, face, heel turn, at least a couple times a year, and it just didn't mean anything. I think the new joke now is how many times is Eric Rowan going to get kicked out of the Wyatt family, be brought back in, kicked out of the Wyatt family, brought back in? Because remember, he was in the Wyatt family, then Bray Wyatt released them, so he has like a mediocre at best, run. Then turns heel, goes back to the Wyatt family. It looked like he got kicked out again like a couple of weeks ago, and now he's back in. So I'm like, okay, does this really mean anything now?
I don't get it. It don't mean offense to me. That was he's talking about the Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan's guy with the sheet mask on. The crowd was really into that match, but it was short.
Yeah.
You weren't digging it too much. So why didn't you like that one as much as you liked some of the other ones?
I think it's because their fighting was just boring.
It was just a little boring to you, but your style. She's like me. She likes the lucha style, and I'll give you a spoiler. Spoiler again, everyone. If you don't want a spoiler, shut ahead. They do a main event before SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, the first main event match was Lindsay Dorado versus Rich Swann.
Oh, nice.
It was, and that kind of spoiled her for the rest of the night. That was her favorite match.
All night long.
They didn't chant that. They didn't chant that.
You should have started it.
I completely forgot.
I'm ashamed of you, sir. Minus 100 points.
I mean, I took somebody new to wrestling. That's like plus 1,000 minimum.
Yeah, but you still miss 100 points, and your ancestors are weeping in the afterlife.
My ancestors are chilling in Valhalla, being super stoked because I shaved my head, and I am Viking-esque, sir. Anyway.
All right. So, and it does, I guess they try to make a point that all it takes one, because they have Rowan get in like a flurry of offense, but just Randy Orton hits a DDT, then boom, hits an RKO, and it's over. Bray Wyatt comes up on the Titantron. Then Eric Rowan disappears like a defeated bad guy in a 1990s NES game.
Now, I can totally say this. We were there. I was watching that match. Like it was brilliant because I'm looking at the ring and it's bright because unlike on TV when they cut the black, you can still see everything.
Oh yeah.
And freaking about messed up. Eric Rowan completely vanished. Like I legitimately didn't see him leave. Did you?
No.
Yeah. Got me. Completely just ninja vanished. So I don't know where he went. He might have actually disappeared like a 1990 Super Nintendo boss because I couldn't find him.
Yeah, disappeared. Then next we get to a match that actually made me mad. I physically got mad.
Okay.
This was it was supposed to be a tag team match. It was supposed to be Natalya and Carmella taking on Nikki Bella and Naomi. Now, by the way, I will say that Naomi's entrance is cool. I think maybe doing like the stuff in her hair that makes her hair glows a little too far, but other than that, you know, it's like, okay, you know. And then it just, as soon as the bell rang, it just devolved into just an all-out brawl, went to the outside, and it just went to a disqualification. It was just a complete, total mess, and I was upset because, you know, Snickerdoodle, I know you like some of the female wrestlers. I know I'm a huge Bailey fan, but, you know, and frankly, sometimes I like the girl matches more than I like a lot of the guy matches. And I was just so mad because I was like, because I'm going to tell you right now, I like, out of that group, I like Carmella. Yes, Carmella, guilty. I like Carmella. And I was like, I wanted to see him wrestle, and I felt like this is something that WWE has been trying to get away from. They've been trying to get away with the slaps, the schoolgirl roll-ups. You know, they've been trying to take them more seriously, but yet they just take, you know, like this was the only girl match of the night, and here they go. They just, it was just a throwaway. So I got to ask you, Snickerdoodle, were you disappointed that it was just so short?
Yes, very disappointed. Because it was like, it should have been the best match, but it actually wasn't. I think it's because, wait, are they like, partners?
Who?
The people who are fighting together.
Yeah,
or did they just put people
They just kind of
together?
put it, remember I was telling you they kind of put people together sometimes? That was what this was.
Yeah, I don't think that they work good together. So.
Why do you think that?
Because you remember the backstage thing where she was like, oh, well, you can go against her. Mick, what's his name?
Mick Foley?
Yeah. He was talking to.
Well, that was on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just, I guess they're just not nice to each other, but that makes them just not fight.
You're talking about the Bailey and Sasha Banks thing from yesterday. Yeah. I see what you're saying. They kind of, it wasn't good storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give the layup very, very well.
Okay. So Snickerdoodle, do these girls fight, you know, when they do the little confrontations, you know, they start trading, you know, verbal jabs at each other? Is that how girls really fight?
No.
She's got 3 sisters.
Okay, how do girls, no, trust me, our audience does not know. How do girls really fight?
We fight, like, pulling each other's hair and, like, just, I don't know. That's how we fight.
It's vicious.
Do you win any of those fights? What
was that?
Do you win in any of those fights?
Well, she's the meanest of the 4, so probably.
Okay. Pays to be the oldest, I guess.
Yeah, but she's not even the oldest.
Oh, she's not the oldest? Oh, okay.
Well, the second oldest.
Wow. She's vicious already.
We got, there's Snickerdoodle.
Pretty girl.
Kitty Cat. Hush Puppy. K-Dog. Bro Dizzle. Sammy Synister Jr., because I'm going to name my son in the true Lucha fashion.
No. In that case, he would be El Hijo de Sammy.
El Equal de Sammy? It can't be Sammy Synister Jr.?
Yeah, no. Well, if you want to do it the Lucha Libre way, it would be El Hijo de Sammy.
Yeah, well, we can go with that. It's still going to be Sammy Synister Jr. And Papa really hates that I called him the Great Tar. He hates that.
Oh, yeah.
He absolutely hates it, so I continue to use it. He cannot stand it.
There's got to be a story behind that, but I don't know if I got the time to tell it.
Full disclosure, my dad's first name, y'all don't know my last name, so this is cool. My dad's first name is Tarleton. And they called my grandfather the Great Tar. Or Tar Baby, which is a whole other thing. So I called my dad one day. It's not what you think it is. His name is Tarleton, and he was the baby. Okay? It is not what you think it is. Literally, it was Tar Baby. Like, he was a baby, and his name was Tar. So I called my dad the Great Tar on the show one day. He's like, listen here, don't ever call me that again. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it every day now.
Just don't throw me in that briar patch.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, pretty much.
Thank God she does not know what we're referencing.
Nah, not at all.
Oh,
it's still family friendly.
Yes,
I didn't break anything.
I feel like we're kind of going to hell for this one.
It's rough. It was rough.
All right, then we get to the main event. We had John Cena versus Dean Ambrose. To me, the crowd seemed pretty split, 50-50, you know, pro-Cena, anti-Cena. The match itself actually turned out to be better than what I thought it was going to be. You had a lot of offense early with Dean Ambrose. A lot of, just they were kind of teasing each other's finishers, but eventually Ambrose, Cena got the STF applied. Ambrose broke free, hit a suicide dive. They go back in. Cena that cross body into the attitude adjustment for a 2 count. Cena goes for a second one, but Ambrose wiggled out of that, hit a dirty deeds, got a near fall out of that. These two started punching back and forth. Cena was going to go for the attitude adjustment again, but Ambrose wiggled out, rolled up Cena for the it was good enough for the 1, 2, 3, and it was just mind blowing. Then out of nowhere, AJ Styles comes in. He attacks John Cena at ringside, and then he goes back in the ring and it starts attacking Dean Ambrose. Daniel Bryan walked out and said that, you know what, I promised Dean Ambrose a one-on-one world title match, and that's going to happen next week, to which I could hear the boos, so I'm pretty sure that's what you were
referencing. They had to mute them because they were loud. That crowd was unhappy. So you just said that you really didn't like that match. Why didn't you like that match?
Oh, yeah.
Because the people, that they were fighting against, I guess they don't, I don't know. They don't. Yeah, it was the first 2 people and then the second 2 people. When they fought together, it wasn't like.
Now that last part where the other 2 people came out, they didn't see that.
I don't, because I'm going to ask you what happened after all that.
Oh, we'll tell you.
I don't know what happened.
So, they saw to where AJ Styles came back in the ring, who's the guy that I really like. Everything after that, they didn't see. Because that's like I remember I was telling you about a dark match. Mm-hmm. That's something that they do for the people that are there. It's kind of like just a little nod from being able to go, so you can say well, I got to see this and you didn't because you weren't physically there. But yeah, I really didn't dig this match either. The crowd was okay on it. They weren't super stoked. Ambrose got a lot more boos than I thought he would get. And, there's no love lost between me and Ambrose.
Yeah, I know.
At all.
Oh, there was, this girl.
you want to tell him? You want to tell him? Tell him.
You can.
Yeah, I want to. Okay. There's this girl. And how old do you think she was? 19?
Yeah.
Maybe. There's this girl to the back and right of us.
Okay.
That's somewhere between 16 and 19.
Yeah.
And where we're sitting, we are on hard camera side. If you are on the hard camera right post, if you make a line directly back from that, that's where we're sitting. Mm-hmm. We actually had some really good seats. But we're sitting there, and there's this girl that's behind and to the right of us. She lost her mind from John Cena. And pretty girl, pink hair, really cute, just losing her mind for Cena. Oh, my God. And I'm talking, people are woo, screaming. I mean, she's screaming for John Cena. There was a couple guys that are sitting behind us. Gentlemen, if you're watching, I've forgotten your name. I apologize. Let us know in the comments. That I talked to tonight. A really, really nice gentleman. Mm-hmm. And I looked back behind him and was like, if he loses this match, this girl might go walk into oncoming traffic. She was just, oh, man. I freaked out when Kevin Owens won that match. But, man, that, she lost her mind. And one of the things that I really didn't dig about this match is at least the people that were there in the stadium, they never let you know that was the main event. We had no idea that was the main event.
We just were like, is that the main event? Because we just were because all the lights came on and we were just like, what? Because they didn't tell us.
So there's something lost in translation there.
Yeah, I know they were hyping up the match. I guess. They didn't come out. I guess on TV they didn't come out and say, okay, here you go. Here's your main event. No.
Yeah, even if the ring announcer would have come out there and been tonight's main event is, but they didn't do that. We genuinely had no idea. I wouldn't keep a track in time because we were there, so it kind of went by a little bit quicker.
All right, so let me tell you what happened. Afterwards, I talk about the AJ Styles attack, and then Daniel Bryan says, okay, next week we're going to see Dean Ambrose get his one-on-one rematch against AJ Styles. Then after that, it was the copyright comes up. It was good night, everybody. So that was the last thing that I saw. What happened? What happened?
Okay. So after that, Dean Ambrose hit a Dirty Deeds on AJ. And then right after that is, who was it? Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan came back to the ring. And so Cena and Ambrose are kind of like, going back to back. Like, do we team up to fight them? What do we do? And so they attacked, and they started beating each other up. And then AJ got involved, and AJ was kind of helping them whoop up on each other. So they're getting the better of the two good guys. And then Randy Orton came back out. And they were just kind of turned into a brawl, and it really wasn't even a match. They kind of beat up on each other, then everyone hit their finisher on the bad guys. 1, 2, 3. That's a wrap. It was fun.
T-shirts are available in the lobby.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, go to your SOL if you need a Becky Lynch T-shirt.
All right, so Snickerdoodle, I got to ask you, what were your thoughts on your first ever big wrestling event?
What?
What were your thoughts on your very first big wrestling event?
Mostly, it was okay. So
just get a little closer. Okay.
Most of it, I really liked it, but some parts of it, I really disliked it.
Well, why did you like the parts that you liked, and why did you dislike the parts that you disliked?
Okay, so I liked the parts that I liked because it's just the way that they fight, I guess. They're so athletic when they do it. And it's like really cool how they move and stuff. And also,
still so they can hear you.
And also because the people who they were fighting against, I guess it was like a good match. But the reason I disliked it is because the people who they were fighting against wasn't like the person they should be fighting against. So.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense because they're building up towards a match. They want you to want to see these two particular people fight, so they got to put people in their way to kind of build up to it. Makes sense. So let me ask you this: would you go back to an event like this?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you like to see more of the next time? The next time you go, what would you like to see more of?
The women's wrestling matches.
Women's wrestling. Okay. And what would you like to see less of?
Probably the tag teams.
Less tag teams. Okay, not a huge fan of tag team wrestling. All right, and if you could talk to WWE right now and say, "Hey, WWE, when you come back to my town, I want to see," like, what would you tell WWE? I want you to do. What would you tell them?
Like, wait.
That's the company that owns
all them
SmackDown.
Raw and SmackDown. Okay, so I would tell them that I wanted Bailey and Sasha to come, and that's it.
Bailey and Sasha. Okay, I don't blame you. You can ask your uncle. I'm a huge Bailey fan.
Yeah, we don't have to get along because I'm a huge Asuka fan. So he got real upset with me when Asuka won twice.
That made me mad.
All right, and okay, would you go see more wrestling events even if it wasn't WWE?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as it wasn't like, if it's staged, then I'll see it. But if it's like not staged, then I'm not gonna go see it.
What do you mean staged? You wouldn't see like a real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. That's boring.
No, I don't blame you on that. Not a hardcore match, but okay, because support your local indies too.
You gotta support your local indies. By the way, just real quick, are you wearing a Tommy Boy T-shirt?
Callahan Auto Parts.
I totally watched that last night.
I picked up some shirts. This is years ago, but I picked up some shirts from $6tees.com, and a lot of the shirts that I wear have some kind of inside joke on them. And every now and then, if you're paying attention, you'll pick them up.
I was thinking, okay, Callahan, I totally watched Tommy Boy last night.
Yes, it does. Thank you for noticing.
You're welcome.
And so, Sammy, what did you think about your live? I know this isn't your first rodeo. This isn't your first one, but how does this one rank amongst all the shows that you've been to?
Obviously, this one was better than the last SmackDown I went to because the last SmackDown was me and my buddy Fun Size, and it was when it was still taped and on Thursdays, yada yada. So I mean, it was a lot better. It was a lot better. The crowd was better, except for the mutant level mouth breather sitting next to me. Just the feeling was a lot better. It was a lot more. I don't know. That's hard to explain because it felt more like a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Then we went to SmackDown. It felt like, okay, it's SmackDown's going to be here. Let's go watch it. But it just felt like, oh, we need to go watch this. So the crowd itself was way more into it.
All right. Snickerdoodle, did you watch Raw too?
We started, we didn't finish.
First, okay. I was going to ask you, what do you think was better, Raw or SmackDown this week? But I guess if you haven't finished watching Raw, it's not a very fair comparison.
Yeah, we were too busy making make your own ice cream sundaes last night and
oh man, that's
playing.
awesome.
Oh yeah, I figured I was leaving this morning. All the grandkids were there, so all the named kids were there. I could go through that list of nicknames again, but they were all there. I figured I'd spoil them a little bit. They got to go back to their parents. I ain't got to deal with them. So I loaded them up on ice cream and whipped cream and chocolate syrup and peanuts and sprinkles and sent them home.
I'm totally going to do that with my nephews as soon as I can get back down to Alabama for a while.
Oh yeah, this is what you do.
It's what you do when you're an uncle. You jack them up on ice cream and Mountain Dew and you send them home.
My son was one of them, so but I got to send him back to his mom.
There you go. It's like, I don't pay your dental bills, and you want ice cream for dinner?
Here you go. I got the dental insurance.
There you go. All right. Well, let's see if there's any questions here in
Again,
the
comment time, gentlemen. It is friendly, so please keep it
yes. Please keep it PG, not PG-13. You don't have to go G, but just PG. Let's see. Oh, MMA Voice says, "Hey guys, do you see Chad Gable as a future world champion? He's the future, in my opinion." I do see him as a future tag team champion, and I can see him maybe making a run with like something like with the Intercontinental, or if he goes to Raw, maybe like the United States Championship. However, I don't see him as a future world champion, and that's no disrespect to him. He's got the charisma. He's got a pretty good chunk of the athletic ability. I think he's going to need to step up his game a little bit more if he wants to go to that level. But I think his biggest drawback against him would probably be his size and maybe even his promo ability. Now, I'm not, and like I said, it's pretty early in his career, and he can improve on all these things. But I think the major roadblock for him would be overcoming his size. Now, I
don't see him as like the future WWE champion. I just don't, because what I do see in him, to me, is almost a bigger compliment. I see him and Jason Jordan potentially as the next Rock and Roll Express. The two guys, remember there was the first tag team match, which was the Usos versus Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan was the bigger guy, and Chad Gable was the smaller white guy. And they're asking if we think Chad Gable is like could be the future WWE Fall champion. Okay, why do you think?
Because I think it's. I don't know. I think that he's not going to become popular enough, I guess.
Why don't you think he'll become popular?
People just don't like the way his moves, maybe?
Well, he was really popular because he came from NXT like Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks and Bayley did, and they were really popular down there. But, Boom's about this. Historically, they've kind of fumbled some people going up to the main roster.
Yeah, they've had some people that have been really popular down in NXT. And then when they come up, they're not as popular because they're still trying to catch on and everything. I know that believe it or not, you probably don't know who they are, but the Ascension.
That was the worst fumble I've seen.
Yeah, I know they were like a really dominant, big, bad tag team. They go up to the main roster, and it's just like, ew, this is not working out. Same thing. Bo Dallas. I don't know if you remember him or not. He was an NXT champion.
Yeah, he was the champion.
He was a champion down there. They bring him up. They pooped the bed with him.
Yeah, that is one of our terms that we use often, but we're PG-ified it.
Yes. All right, let's see if we got any more. I don't know if we got anybody here. Okay, no, just MMA Voice.
I thought somebody asked about, is it true that Edward Mohan again says, is it true WWE wants to buy TNA?
That was a rumor floated out, and I think WWE just wanted the tape library.
Yeah, we saw that while we were actually in the stadium because I was talking to the gentleman behind us again, and it says they are interested in buying TNA, but only if no one else is, and they really only want it for the tape library for like AJ and Samoa Joe and a couple other guys.
Yeah, I think WWE just wants the tape library, and there was even talks about Sinclair, who owns Ring of Honor, but they just want it just for the time slot.
Yeah. Honestly, if I'm ROH, I buy, and I know you're not talking about stuff you don't know yet, but that's cool. We'll get to a question you do. If I'm ROH, I buy TNA, and I make my Raw versus SmackDown TNA versus ROH.
Yeah, I would find a way to combine the rosters and have fun. There you go, bless you. All right, I think that's actually all the questions. Do we want to wrap this show up?
We're going to wrap it up. You want to get a shout-out to anybody before we call it a night here? Yeah, if no friends, no family, you want to give a shout-out to? I found that hard to believe.
No.
You want to shout out to Papa? You want to shout out to Nana? You want to shout out to the other girls? You want to shout out to your teachers? You want to shout out to your friends? You're a terrible friend.
Thank you.
I'm going to give a shout-out to Ray and Earl. I want to say don't stop believing.
Oh, boy, don't bring a tear to my eye. I ain't ready for that tonight. I ain't got that kind of manliness in me.
Just don't stop till you get enough.
Yeah, well, we definitely had enough for lunch. We had hot wings for lunch. I only ate like 4, and I was like,
I only ate 2.
It was stuffed.
Only ate 2.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's like 4'0" and like a $1.05.
Not even that.
If even.
Ain't so a lot were they really spicy hot wings?
Mine were. Hers weren't.
Nah.
I only ate 2 though.
Cat, go away.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to wrap it up. I want to tell everybody thanks for joining us here at KocoSports.com. Be sure to visit us at KocoSports.com. KocoSports.net takes you to the same place. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We've got shows cranking out all the time. I will not be able to join you later this week. I've got to go out of town for a day or two, but I'll be back next week. LK is going to handle all of the reviewing duties in the middle of the week. He's going to do NXT.
I'll be handling Lucha tomorrow night.
Lucha Underground. LK's going to handle TNA. Maybe if I can get a shot in, if I can find maybe 5 or 10 minutes here and there, maybe I can crank out a Ring of Honor review. I know their new show is due out in a little bit. And
I have yet to figure out what day Ring of Honor comes out because I have it set to record, but they'll do a new show and then they'll like do Sinclair will do like 3 or 4 reruns. So I have no idea what's new. So I've stopped trying to keep up with the Ring of Honor live shows, and there's still, I'm sorry, Ring of Honor fans, there's no reason to watch their episodic show. No reason.
If you've got, I think they come on like Thursday nights on Comet.
Okay, we got My 68, which is the local.
Yeah, that's okay. That's still Sinclair affiliate. Actually, I think 68 there would have they'll have the first run of it before it goes to Comet, and then you can always check it out at rohwrestling.com.
I feel antsy enough to watch a show. I'll usually just come down here in my basement and watch it on roh.com. But there's no reason to watch their episodic show. Just watch the pay-per-views and you'll find it. You'll know everything you need to know.
Oh, they had a pretty good one last week.
Well, I mean, I get them occasionally wrong, but just as a general rule of thumb, there's no reason.
Yeah, I know they've struggled as of late, but I think if this last show's any indication, I think they're starting to turn the ship around a little bit.
No.
But anyway, well, doesn't Clash of Champions this weekend, or is it next weekend?
Yes, Clash of Champions is this weekend. Unfortunately, I've got to work, so I may miss a chunk of it if we do a live.
Maybe we can get that lazy bum Dave Coco to get off his rear end and do something for a change.
Dave Coco or Tajiri.
Yeah, Wink.
Can actually do something.
Yeah, we could do that. And, of course, we'll start all over again with Monday Night Raw. So that's going to do it for us for Snickerdoodle, Sammy Synister, and yours truly, Boom Boom. Thank you for joining us, and the boom just went bang, and I am out.